Matthew Renshaw was a digital ghost, haunting the comment sections of YouTube with his toxic diatribes. Under the pseudonym DarkSpectre64, he unleashed venomous critiques on every video he watched, targeting creators and their work without mercy. From gaming streams to cooking tutorials, no genre was safe from his spiteful wrath. One evening, Matthew stumbled upon a beautifully animated short film about a young woman named Elara who embarked on a magical journey to save her village from a dark curse. The video was a labor of love, evident in its meticulous animation and heartfelt storytelling. But to Matthew, it was just another target. Typical cliched garbage, he typed furiously. The animation is subpar, and the story is laughable. Don't quit your day job, loser. Satisfied with his cruelty, he hit post and moved on. Little did he know, this time, his words had far-reaching consequences. That night, Matthew fell into a deep sleep, only to wake up in a place that was both unfamiliar and unsettling. He found himself in a quaint, medieval village. The air was thick with the scent of burning wood and wildflowers. People bustled around in period clothing, completely ignoring him. "Where the hell am I?" he muttered, rubbing his eyes in disbelief. A voice from behind startled him. "You're in Elara's village," said an old man with a kindly face. "You must be a new traveler. Welcome." Matthew's heart raced. The name Elara rang a bell. His mind flashed back to the video he had savaged the night before. "This can't be real," he whispered to himself. Yet, it was undeniably real. As he wandered through the village, he saw familiar landmarks from the animation: the towering oak tree in the center of the village, the bustling market, and the imposing castle on the hill. It was all there, brought to life in vivid detail. Panicked, Matthew tried to find a way out, but the village seemed to stretch endlessly. Exhausted and desperate, he approached the castle, hoping for answers. Inside, he found Elara herself, a young woman with fiery red hair and determined green eyes. She was strategizing with a group of villagers, their faces tense with worry. "Who are you?" Elara asked, her voice both curious and commanding. Matthew stammered, I'm Matthew. I don't know how I got here." Elara's eyes narrowed. "You're not from around here, are you?" Matthew shook his head. "No, and I need to get back to my world." Elara sighed. "There's only one way to leave this place. You have to help us break the curse." Matthew felt a cold dread wash over him. He was stuck in a story he had mocked, forced to live out the narrative he had dismissed as cliched and laughable. With no other options, Matthew reluctantly agreed. Over the following days, he found himself thrown into the thick of the village's struggles. He helped Elara gather magical herbs, fought off shadowy creatures, and even learned basic spells from the village's ancient grimoire. At first, he was resentful and bitter, but as time passed, something unexpected happened. Matthew began to see the villagers as real people with genuine fears and hopes. He saw the courage in Elara's eyes, the determination in the villagers' hearts, and the beauty in the world they fought to protect. His harsh exterior started to crack, revealing a person capable of empathy and understanding. One evening, after a particularly brutal battle with a shadow beast, Elara and Matthew sat by a fire, nursing their wounds. "Why were you so cruel to us?" Elara asked quietly, her eyes reflecting the flickering flames. Matthew looked down, shame flooding his face. I don't know. It's easier to tear things down than to build them up. I guess it made me feel powerful in a way." Elara nodded thoughtfully. "We all have our demons to fight, Matthew. But hurting others won't make yours go away." Her words struck a chord deep within him. Matthew realized that his cruelty stemmed from his own insecurities and failures. For the first time, he felt a genuine desire to change. As they continued their journey, Matthew's attitude shifted. He became a vital part of the team, using his critical eye to help improve their strategies and find weaknesses in the enemy. He grew closer to the villagers, earning their trust and respect. Finally, the day came when they confronted the source of the curse, a malevolent sorcerer who had plunged the village into darkness. The battle was fierce, but with Alara's bravery and Matthew's newfound strength, they managed to defeat the sorcerer and lift the curse. The village erupted in celebration, and for the first time, Matthew felt a sense of true accomplishment. He had helped save these people, and in doing so, he had redeemed a part of himself. As the celebrations died down, Alara approached him. "Your journey here is over, Matthew. It's time for you to go back." Matthew felt a pang of sadness. "I don't want to leave. I've found a purpose here." Alara smiled warmly. "You've changed, and that change will go with you. Remember what you've learned here. Be better." With a final, heartfelt farewell, Matthew found himself enveloped in a blinding light. When he opened his eyes, he was back in his bedroom, the glow of his computer screen illuminating the darkness. The familiar YouTube interface was still open, his latest comment glaring at him from the screen. He hovered his finger over the delete button, hesitated for a moment, and then pressed it. From that day forward, Matthew transformed. He stopped posting hateful comments and began to use his skills to offer constructive criticism and support. He started his own channel, sharing stories and experiences that encouraged and uplifted others. His journey in Alara's village had taught him the value of kindness, empathy, and the power of words to build rather than destroy. Matthew's channel grew, attracting a community of like-minded individuals who valued positivity and growth. He often thought of Alara and the villagers, wondering if they were thriving in their world. In his heart, he knew they were, and that knowledge gave him the strength to continue his own journey of redemption. Years later, as he looked back on his transformation, Matthew realized that the true magic of his adventure wasn't in the fantasy world he had visited, but in the change it had sparked within him. The lessons he learned in Alara's village had made him a better person, and for that, he was eternally grateful.